Eliza Temple from UK. So thank you and welcome. The stage.
Hiya, thanks so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be presenting. I'm just going to see if I can share my screen. One sec. Can you just confirm that this is full screen? Yeah.
It's not full screen, but we can see it good.
Okay.
If you want us to see full screen, you have to share your whole desktop. You cannot
Okay.
share just the screen.
I'll do that, one sec. Okay, I'm going to go through like this. So the title of this presentation is Designing a Future for Commensality, which will summarise some of my design practice in the application of graphic design to improve our relationships with food. So I thought I'd start with a really quick intro to my work. So I'm a graphic designer by trade. I've just completed an MA in graphic design, and most of my work in particular looks at designing for food and how we can enhance our engagement with food through visual art and sort of evoke sensory responses through visual design and tactility, like book design and zines. And I often combine interactive experiences and workshops with this. I'm currently working on bringing these things into more of a community setting too, to make it more accessible to a wider audience. And these are some examples of projects I've worked on recently. For example, a cyanotype workshop in a community garden. And this is a piece from a virtual dinner party, which is going to be the focus of this presentation. So a key word that appears in most of my practice is commensality. So the etymology of this word comes from the medieval Latin com, together, and mensa, table or meal. It originally comes from biological or scientific term, meaning a relationship between two species in which one obtains food from the other without harming or benefiting the latter. However, this has now been sort of co-opted as a sociological term, meaning the practice of eating together, often strongly defined by societal rules and conventions. I'd share some interesting examples of commensality. So one of which is burdock, like sticky burdock seeds, which will stick to animals to disperse their seeds, or the monarch butterfly, which relies on a plant called milkweed to as its host plant. So it's quite interesting that we can also consider the act of eating around the same table or cooking and eating for one another as an act of commensality. So the basis of this project took place, of course, over the last 18 months of the pandemic, examining how our relationship routine and rituals around food had changed because of COVID-19. So this is based on UK experiences like a craze in home baking and all making our own sourdough, or relying on our local grocers and an increase in interest in organic food. And of course, we're still seeing the effects of panic buying and food shortages and isolation. So the project that followed was the design of a virtual dinner party, which I called Terra Bite. As a graphic designer, I wanted to create a visual identity that would encourage people to engage with it, like using bright colours, and gradients to reflect the sensory experiences of cooking and eating. As we're all getting used to education and work taking place on video call, I wanted the event to provide real tactile takeaways that people can keep as a souvenir or a memory. So these were all posted out to participants of the dinner party. Another key aspect was accessibility. I wanted the ingredients to not feel intimidating for those who might not be experienced cooks. So I selected 5 seasonal ingredients. And my interest in the word rituals also translated into the spiritual significance of these ingredients. So I made sure that all the ingredients featured had an interesting folklore or healing property that could give them more meaning while you cook with them. And these are some hand-printed ingredients cards, which were also posted out to all the guests of the dinner party. So the dinner party itself had 9 guests and gave a chance for everyone to introduce themselves, what they'd made with the ingredients, and discuss their experiences of cooking with those ingredients with these new properties that they might not have heard of before. It was also an opportunity to meet new people from across Europe and discuss our experiences so far over lockdown. This is, of course, only one way of conducting an online dinner party. So I think it's quite interesting to think about how you might conduct an online meal around a virtual table and who you might invite and what the food might consist of. This was then documented in a satirical guidebook to holding an online dinner party, which took inspiration from mid-century recipe books. This documented each guest's recipes and little extracts from the discussion throughout the evening. I just wanted to quickly summarise my findings from this research, which brought to the forefront how we need to reinvent our rituals and routines for the future to encourage a real connection to our food, and also the importance of the internet, of course, in connecting us all while we're so far apart, just like this event today. And also the importance of prioritising tactility and real handheld objects, even when you're conducting something online. This doesn't have to be a print or a book. It could be an object or a utensil that someone can use. And this also encouraged me to continue designing for engagement and togetherness. So I've continued this by researching into community-based and alternative food systems, and using graphic design as a way to connect communities with their local environments. And I thought I'd end with this short but meaningful quote by nature writer Terry Tempest Williams, which says, "It just may be that the most radical act we can commit is to stay home." Thank you. Sorry for that very, very quick presentation.
Thank you. You're really welcome. I'm super happy that you could present because me myself, I come from the graphic design field, and for me, it's very interesting to see how there's some people like you, like me, like some students of that I know and that I had, that from graphic design, they are approaching the food design in a different way. So I encourage you to keep on doing the work you do and to keep in contact with us so that we can, make this every time bigger. So thank you very much.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.